In a world much like the ones in fairy tales, where peace was a common treasure, darkness loomed on the horizon. The Demon King, a shadowy figure feared by all, unleashed his army of the undead upon the unsuspecting lands. It was a dark time, but just when hope seemed lost, a hero emerged from the shadows, as if destiny had marked the moment for his arrival. In the ultimate showdown between good and evil, the hero faced the Demon King in a battle that would decide the fate of the world. With courage in his heart, the hero sacrificed everything to seal away the Demon King deep beneath the earth. The Demon King, with his last breath, vowed to return. And so, the tale goes. The world found peace, and the hero became a legend whispered in the winds. Fast forward to our time, the storyteller, unsure of who penned this tale, muses that the saga of the Demon King and the hero seems destined to repeat itself forever. Then, as if stepping right out of a storybook, a scene unfolds where a mysterious person enters a grand room to deliver urgent news to the Majesty. With a bow, the messenger reveals a shocking truth. Demiurgos the 666th, a name that sent shivers down the spine, had awakened and abandoned the demon realm. The room grew tense as the Majesty, flustered and bewildered, demanded clarity. The messenger, trembling, presented a letter from Demiurgos himself, declaring his resignation from the throne of darkness with words that echoed rebellion. "I quit being the Demon King. Don't look for me, you idiots." The news of Demiurgos's departure left the Majesty fuming with questions unanswered. Meanwhile, miles away, the one who abandoned his crown, Demiurgos, now stood before the breathtaking sights of the Verde Kingdom's Arkoma castle. A smirk played on his lips as he admired the realm of humans he had long heard tales of, a place so different from his dark past. As Demiurgos, now calling himself Deus, reveled in the beauty and charm of this new world, his amusement was cut short by the stern faces of the castle guards. Their suspicion and hostility were clear as they challenged him, weapons at the ready, demanding to know his intentions and identity. Caught in a delicate situation, he knew revealing his true name would only invite trouble. So, with a cunning smile, he chose a name that would both conceal and reveal, introducing himself to the humans as Deus. The air thickened with tension as a new voice cut through the standoff. The guards and Demiurgos turned to see Count Bruo, a man of authority and respect, step forward. His presence commanded attention, and his words carried weight. Count Bruo's intervention, calling out Demiurgos for the audacity to assume the name of an ancient god, added another layer of intrigue to the unfolding drama. Count Bruo's offer of forgiveness, under the condition of ignorance, was a thinly veiled warning. It was clear that Demiurgos, or Deus, as he now called himself, was treading on thin ice. Yet, undeterred by the tension, Demiurgos seized the moment to probe further, his smile never wavering as he posed a seemingly innocent question about the strength of the Verde Kingdom. In the midst of chaos, Bruo, wide-eyed and disbelieving, could barely utter his shock. "What?" he gasped, as Demiurgos, with a hint of curiosity, pondered aloud if this kingdom was bold enough to embrace him as its ruler. Infuriated by the audacity, Bruo drew his sword, accusing Demiurgos of defiling the royal family's honor. He vowed that Demiurgos would pay dearly for his insolence. But before the threat could take form, Demiurgos's eyes glowed a sinister red. And what followed was a spectacle of horror as Bruo's head met a violent end, painting the scene with dread. A nearby guard, struck dumb by the horror, couldn't comprehend the swift turn of events. His face swelled grotesquely before erupting in a spray of blood, a grim fate shared by another unfortunate soul close by. The remaining guards stood petrified, their minds racing to grasp the nature of this dark magic that felled their comrades with nothing but a flick of Demiurgos's fingers. In a horrifying display, the heads of 3 more guards burst open as if struck by an unseen force. From their vantage point, archers on the castle walls loosed a volley of arrows towards the menacing figure of Demiurgos. Yet, their efforts were in vain as he, with a mere look, caused their demise in the same gruesome manner. With the utterance of an ancient incantation known only to the most formidable of necromancers, Demiurgos invoked the dark arts. "Arise," he commanded, and the slain knights were lifted into a grotesque ballet, their blood forming a macabre pathway for their new king. Demiurgos's command echoed, urging the deceased to honor his ascension with their blood and tears. Panic ensued within the castle. Guards scrambled to rally the troops, fearing the onset of war, while rumors of the carnage outside spread like wildfire. The knights, gripped by a mix of fear and duty, awaited the invaders' entrance with bated breath. The doors burst open, revealing Demiurgos, casual yet imposing, as he stepped into the fray. His smile was chilling as he proclaimed their screams would herald his reign. A palpable dread filled the air, augmented by a ghastly aura that seemed to dance with spectral skulls. The undead, at his behest, descended upon the guards in a frenzy, their blades reaping lives with merciless precision. The castle grounds were awash with chaos, as screams for salvation mingled with the cries of the dying, a grim chorus to welcome the reign of the new king. As the echoes of anguish filled the air, Demiurgos stood amidst the chaos, his smile unwavering. The despair and agony that unfolded around him seemed not only to please him, but to bring a peculiar joy that painted a blush across his cheeks. It was a scene straight out of a nightmare, where the line between friend and foe blurred in the shadow of impending doom. Yet, in the midst of this despair, a voice of hope resounded, invoking the divine with a prayer that pierced the darkness. As the prayer reached its crescendo, the man named Blood became a beacon of golden light, a stark contrast to the gloom cast by Demiurgos. Blood, emboldened by his faith and the power bestowed upon him, faced the source of evil with a determination that seemed unshakable. Demiurgos, intrigued by the display of light aura, recognized in Blood the very challenge he had been seeking. Blood, with no knowledge of Demiurgos's past or his renunciation of the demon throne, saw only the threat before him. He condemned Demiurgos's actions, his breach of the castle's defenses, and vowed to be the barrier that Demiurgos could not cross. With a leap fueled by a blend of divine blessing and sheer will, Blood launched an attack that seemed to hold the weight of his convictions, illuminating the darkness with a brilliance that threatened to overwhelm Demiurgos. Yet, the confidence that shone in Blood's eyes flickered into disbelief as Demiurgos, with a casual grace, thwarted the attack with a mere flick of his fingers. The air crackled with tension as Demiurgos prepared his retort, a prayer mocking yet mirroring the one Blood had uttered. In his prayer, Demiurgos's words twisted between reverence and mockery, a reflection of his complex nature. After his chilling declaration, Demiurgos stood before Blood with an air of superiority. With a swift and merciless act, he demonstrated his power by removing Blood's heart right from his chest. His words were a stark warning against invoking the divine, and with a cruel twist, he crushed the heart, painting the scene with a gruesome display of defiance. The throne room, now a stage for an unfolding drama, became tense as Demiurgos faced the king's last line of defense. Knights, clad in armor, stood ready, their loyalty unshaken even in the face of this mysterious and powerful intruder. Their determination, however, was met with a cold greeting from Demiurgos, who mocked their readiness as if inviting them to a dance they could not hope to lead. As the confrontation escalated, Demiurgos, unbothered by the royal protocol, addressed the king directly, sparking outrage among the guards. But their bravado was short-lived. With a mere snap of his fingers, Demiurgos silenced their protests in a brutal display of power, leaving a silence that echoed with the gravity of their situation. With an effortless grace, Demiurgos then took to the skies, his newfound wings carrying him straight to the heart of power, the king himself. His approach, marked by a mocking laughter, was not of a conqueror to his prize, but of a predator circling his prey. The king, stripped of his protectors and faced with the undeniable threat before him, scrambled to offer anything and everything to save his kingdom. But Demiurgos's ambition was clear. He demanded the kingdom itself, a price too steep, a demand too audacious. The king's refusal, marked by desperation and disbelief, was met with a cold ultimatum from Demiurgos. His claim was not just to the throne but to the very legacy of the royal lineage. As the tension in the air thickened, an unexpected turn left Demiurgos standing in a cloud of confusion. The old man, with a nose betraying his age with an untimely drip, claimed Demiurgos sought his daughter. Demiurgos, bewildered by such an assumption, clarified his indifference towards any claim of kinship or desire for the old man's daughter, April, whom the latter boasted as the pride of the Horsens continent and a precious gem of the royal lineage. Yet, Demiurgos's disinterest lay elsewhere. His true ambition was not for the old man's daughter but for the throne and power that the royal family wielded. The revelation sparked fury in the old man, who could not fathom why Demiurgos would covet that which was not his. In a chilling moment, Demiurgos's eyes glowed red, questioning the very ownership of the world and the kingdom. Challenging the old man's assertion that it belonged to the royal family by birthright. Demiurgos argued the nature of possession and power, suggesting that the throne itself was an emblem of conquest and desire, no different from his own aspirations. The king's refusal to relinquish control met Demiurgos's mockery, especially when the king questioned the allegiance of the Sanctus Maximus people to an outsider like Demiurgos. Laughter echoed through the halls as Demiurgos scorned the king's concerns. His aura suddenly erupting with such force that the castle itself could not withstand the power, leading to its fiery destruction. Amid the chaos, Demiurgos's search for the king's body revealed a lack of resistance he deemed boring, lamenting to the heavens his disappointment in the lack of challenge and preparation among those who opposed him. As the golden rays of the morning sun danced through the window, Demiurgos shared a thought aloud, pondering the time it would take for a true pureblood to awaken. He estimated a long 20 years would pass before the destined day of his descent. It was a moment of reflection on the endless cycle of war and peace that had plagued the world for eons. In the depths of the demonic realm, the lost demons, remnants of the First Great War, had embarked on a relentless quest. They gathered the shattered soul of the demon king and, within a new vessel, they breathed life once more. Through a century of dark rituals, infusing him with potent magics and curses, they birthed a new demon king. This cycle of resurrection and conflict, a dance of dark and light, repeated itself time and again, each time believing the era of heroes had ended, only to be proven wrong. For 666 iterations, spanning over 66,580 years, the world was caught in this loop. The stories of heroes saving the day turned from awe-inspiring epics to predictable tales, dulling the sense of urgency and safety among the populace. In a grand, desperate attempt, the demons poured all their might into the resurrection of the 666th Demon King, Demiurgos, meant to be the ultimate destroyer of mankind. Yet, upon awakening, Demiurgos chose a path unexpected, abandoning his given role. It was during this moment of contemplation that a scream shattered the silence. The source was April, the beloved daughter of the king. Her tears and questions filled the air, demanding to know the fate of her father and who Demiurgos was. With a flash of memory, Demiurgos recognized her as the princess, the jewel of Horsen's continent. Without a moment's hesitation, he bluntly informed her of her father's demise. April's heart shattered at the news, her world crumbling before her eyes. Yet, in a sudden twist, Demiurgos wiped her memories clean with a snap of his fingers, leaving her vulnerable and declaring her servitude to him. She knelt, a blank slate, offering herself to his will. As Demiurgos acknowledged his first human follower with a touch, his attention was suddenly drawn away by a presence lurking in the shadows. His command was chilling, a warning to the unseen observer that their stealth was futile against his senses. As Demiurgos stood there, a mix of amusement and annoyance flickering across his face, the cloaked figure, now known as Alex, burst into laughter. It was clear that this unexpected reunion was not without its charm. Despite Demiurgos's attempts at severing ties with his past, the loyalty of his once hidden follower seemed unshakable. "Demiurgos, my lord, it's been a journey unlike any other," Alex began, his voice laced with a mixture of respect and mischief. "Following you into this bright and bustling world, I've only wished to stand by your side, as I always have." Demiurgos, trying to mask his growing curiosity with indifference, couldn't help but question the sincerity of Alex's words. "All these years, and you still speak in riddles. What do you want from me, Alex? Why follow me to a world that is not our own?" With a smile that seemed to hold decades of secrets, Alex replied, "My lord, it's simple. Where you go, I follow. It's not just duty, it's devotion. Your journey is mine, whether it leads back to the shadows or forward into the light." The conversation took a turn when Alex brought up the notion of Demiurgos seeking companionship, a topic that seemed to unnerve the former Demon King. Yet, before Demiurgos could dismiss the idea entirely, Alex delved into tales of their shared past. A past filled with trials, lessons, and moments that forged the unlikeliest of bonds between a demon lord and his loyal subject. Alex's recount of nurturing Demiurgos through his infancy and teaching him through a mix of tough love and genuine care painted a picture far removed from the realm of demonic battles and power struggles. It was a narrative of growth, learning, and most importantly, affection. As Alex reminisced about the young Demiurgos' first steps and his journey to maturity, it was evident that this was more than just a tale of a guardian and his charge. It was a story of family, forged not by blood but by years of companionship and loyalty. Demiurgos, now facing the reality of his new life among humans, found himself at a crossroads. His declaration of rebirth as a normal human being was met with Alex's unwavering support, a reminder that no matter the path he chose, he would not walk it alone. "Very well, Alex. If this is the path I've chosen, then let us see where it leads." Demiurgos, his face a mask of seriousness, fixed his gaze on Alex, a question burning in his eyes. "What is it?" he asked, his voice heavy with suspicion. Alex, on the other hand, seemed unfazed, his reply casual. "What do you mean?" The air between them crackled as Demiurgos, fueled by frustration, demanded to know why Alex was so calm, why he wasn't trying to send him back, even as Demiurgos' own magic twisted around him menacingly. To Demiurgos' surprise, Alex burst into laughter, a sound that seemed out of place in the tension-filled room, and with an apology, he promised to share his true intentions. Curious despite himself, Demiurgos asked if Alex believed there was a particular reason he chose to target this land. "No specific reason," Demiurgos admitted. "If I'm to live among humans, why not live as a king?" Alex's response was to start clapping, a gesture that only deepened Demiurgos' confusion. "How fitting for the Demon King," Alex remarked, a twinkle in his eye. He painted a vivid picture of Demiurgos' actions since arriving on Earth, overtaking the largest kingdom, slaying its king, and capturing the princess. "Pure evil," Alex commented, almost admiringly. "Such grand dark deeds are beyond the imagination of most, be they human or high-ranking demon." He then laid out a stunning revelation. Since Demiurgos had renounced his demonic crown, Alex would take Demiurgos' future son back to the demonic realm to be raised as the next demon king. This child, 20 years hence, would return to the human world as Demiurgos the 666, a new era of darkness. The weight of Alex's words hung heavily in the air. Demiurgos, initially taken aback, eventually laughed off the notion. The idea of becoming a father at his age, a mere 80 years, by demon standards, seemed ludicrous. Yet, as Alex pressed the issue, Demiurgos' patience snapped. He spun around, a fierce glare directed at Alex, and unleashed a formidable attack. The power behind the strike was immense, cleaving through the landscape and altering it irrevocably. Alex, narrowly escaping, was astounded by the force Demiurgos wielded, his attack a testament to a strength yet fully realized. Amidst the chaos, a revelation dawned on Alex. Demiurgos, though not yet in full command of his demonic powers, was a force unlike any before him. This realization sparked a glimmer of hope. Perhaps, with Demiurgos, they stood a chance at victory. A chance to achieve something unprecedented. Then, in an unexpected twist, Demiurgos proclaimed his new purpose. He would stand as a champion of justice, an ally to heroes. Alex's reaction was beyond words as he watched himself literally start to dissolve from the shock. But Demiurgos, with a grin and a spark in his eyes, laid out his master plan. He intended to join forces with the hero, always staying just out of the spotlight, cleverly hiding in plain sight as the hero's unsuspecting ally. The idea of being the power behind the throne, so to speak, amused him greatly. He envisioned himself basking in the reflected glory of the hero's triumphs, all the while contributing from the shadows. Poor Alex, however, was not amused. Tears streamed down his face as he grappled with the reality that without the fourth Demon King, the very notion of a hero was in jeopardy. How can you ally with someone who doesn't exist? He lamented, pleading with Demiurgos to reconsider his outrageous scheme. Unperturbed, Demiurgos took to the skies, beckoning Alex to follow him on a quest to find this hero. When Alex inquired about the princess, Demiurgos nonchalantly tossed the responsibility back to him, indicating that Alex should handle that matter himself. Unbeknownst to both of them, their entire exchange was being observed through a magical orb by a mysterious figure, who commented disdainfully on Demiurgos' apparent lack of intelligence and pedigree. This observer, a woman with plans of her own, saw Demiurgos' arrival as an opportunity. She needed his powers for her own undisclosed purposes, confident in her ability to manipulate him to her ends. Everything exists solely for the scenario, she mused, hinting at a larger, yet unrevealed plot at play. Meanwhile, Demiurgos, ever the character, began to sing a mocking tune about the hero, calling him foolish and naive. As they traveled by carriage, Alex questioned why they weren't flying, to which Demiurgos humorously chided him for not understanding the importance of keeping a low profile. Their banter was abruptly interrupted when Alex pointed out the remnants of a castle, now a smoldering ruin, ironically contrasting Demiurgos' earlier concern for discretion. Brushing aside the heavy air of destiny and legend, Alex couldn't help but ask Demiurgos, the former demon king now eyeing a life of unexpected camaraderie, whether he truly intended to stand beside a hero. Demiurgos, with a nod, shared his ambition not just to accompany a hero but to live a life far removed from his past, aspiring for a slice of tranquility among the world's elite, all while playing a pivotal role in combating monsters from behind the scenes. Alex, skeptical of the practicality of reaching such lofty heights simply as a hero's sidekick, voiced his doubts. Yet, Demiurgos, with the confidence of someone who had once ruled over the dark realms, reassured him. He brought up his formidable background as a former demon king and one of the most powerful beings in the demon world, suggesting that with such a figure in the wings, slaying a dragon would be a mere trifle. Curiosity piqued, Alex pondered aloud about Demiurgos' earlier wish to embrace humanity, questioning whether magic would be a part of this new life. Demiurgos, unfazed, declared his intent to utilize every skill at his disposal, humorously noting that perhaps their previous defeats were due to underusing their innate powers. The conversation then shifted to the structure of heroism in their world, with Alex confirming the existence of a ranking system akin to what Demiurgos imagined. It was a hierarchy of valor, starting from D rank, the Dragon Slayers, a testament to one's prowess in facing such formidable creatures. Yet, as Alex explained, dragons now lived in a state of neutrality, their legendary belligerents relegated to tales of old. Further up the ranks were the G rank, Giant Slayers, followed by L rank, those who could claim victory over a lich. Demiurgos, intrigued, questioned the necessity of so many classifications, to which Alex revealed that the ranks continued in alphabetical order, concluding with F rank. These were the failed heroes, likened to unsold fruits, repurposed into jam, a metaphor for those who fall short of glory and are reassigned to less glamorous roles. Demiurgos reflected on the melancholy of such a fate, while Alex expounded on the implications of one's rank. Higher standing brought not only greater recognition but also support from nobility and potential positions of influence within the kingdom. In this world, where the battle between light and dark stretches back millennia, Alex's words hang in the air, painting a stark picture of human society's obsession with strength and heritage. The concept of pure blood isn't just a matter of pride. It's the foundation upon which the entire hero ranking system is built. This system, tracing back to the hero and the priestess who first saved the world 66,180 years ago, prioritizes those with the purest lineage, believed to wield the strongest aura. Demiurgos, new to the human world and its customs, listens intently. His journey from the depths of the demon realm to the heart of human civilization has been nothing short of extraordinary. As he learns of the endless cycle of conflict fueled by a promise made thousands of years ago, he can't help but wonder why peace is such a foreign concept here. As they continue their journey, Demiurgos' curiosity about the world around him grows. Each new discovery, a butterfly, the wind, the sun, and the scent of spring, brings with it a sense of wonder and innocence. It's clear that despite his formidable title and power, Demiurgos has much to learn about the simple beauties of life above ground. His conversation with Alex reveals more than just the intricacies of the world. It uncovers a deep-seated desire for change. Demiurgos reflects on the fate that awaited him had he not abandoned his throne. A life predetermined by tradition and conflict, ending in a battle with a hero born from the very bloodline that has opposed his own for ages. In this moment of reflection, Demiurgos expresses a profound realization. The role of a demon god, with its endless cycle of hatred and warfare, is not just burdensome, it's unnecessary. Demiurgos, hidden beneath a cloak of intrigue, turned to Alex with a question hanging in the balance. Alex, his silence speaking volumes, merely met his gaze. Shaking off the moment, Demiurgos declared his intention to rest, half-jokingly warning Alex against any thoughts of betrayal that would lead them back to the demon world, for it would spell doom for them both. With a resigned, "Yes, my lord," from Alex, the carriage continued its journey, winding through the scenic path until it reached its destination.
Upon awakening, Demiurgos was informed they had arrived at Zoric, a quaint village untouched by the grandeur of trade or the scars of militarization. His first impression was mixed, his face a mask of contemplation as they entered the village. Curiosity piqued, he inquired about the heroes of Zoric, learning from Alex of only two notable families. One teetering on the edge of greatness, and another, its glory dimmed.
The absence of a D-rank family in Zoric seemed to amuse Demiurgos, who commented on the demon army's cowardice, a sentiment Alex confirmed with tales of D-rank strength. Their conversation drifted to the whispers of the villagers, where fears of a dragon's attack on Trier Castle stirred the air. The notion that dragons, creatures long thought extinct, were now re-emerging, filled the village with a mix of fear and wonder. Demiurgos, intrigued by the shift in dragon-human relations, listened as the villagers debated the reality of a new era where dragons walked the earth once more. Alex, having not seen the surface world in 8 decades, could only speculate on the changes that had occurred. The villagers, concerned for their safety and that of the wider world, spoke of notifying the Sanctus Maximus to dispatch a D-rank hero to their aid. Unbeknownst to the world, our protagonist had already achieved feats that would shake the foundations of legends, having obliterated the Sanctus Maximus population and bested a D-rank hero. Their journey led them to the finest hotel in the vicinity, where they decided to settle down for the time being. Demiurgos, shedding the last remnants of his former title, instructed Alex to address him as Master, henceforth, marking a new chapter in their unusual alliance. Upon their arrival at the golden pavilion of the hotel, they were greeted with the practiced smile of the receptionist. Alex, unfazed by the subtleties of social standing, boldly requested the penthouse suite. The receptionist, taken aback by their humble appearances, couldn't help but scoff internally, mistaking them for naive wanderers from the countryside. Yet, the moment Alex revealed a chest brimming with gold, pilfered from the depths of Arkema Castle, the hotel staff's demeanor transformed instantly, bending over backward to accommodate their affluent guests. Zeke Pan Holy Beach, a worker who had the misfortune of stumbling in his rush to serve, quickly recovered and introduced himself. He was tasked with escorting them to their lavish accommodation, hinting at disturbances in the village due to the recent appearance of a legendary dragon near Trier Castle. Despite the potential for alarm, Zeke reassured them of the village's protection by a family of A-rank, bordering on G-rank, heroes. As they reached the penthouse, Zeke expressed his honor in serving guests of such high nobility, though his nervousness betrayed his inexperience with such esteemed company. Demiurgos, seizing the moment, inquired about Zeke's bloodline, discerning a connection to the fabled hero families of Zoric, yet marred by generations of dilution. Zeke, flushed with embarrassment, confessed to being a mere F-rank, a self-proclaimed, failed product of his lineage. It was then that chaos erupted, as a dragon, the very creature stirring unrest in the village, unleashed its fury, its flames engulfing the room in a spectacle of power and destruction. While Demiurgos and Alex remained unfazed, Zeke was thrown into a frenzy, witnessing the pandemonium as villagers fled in terror from the dragon's wrath. In the midst of urgency, Zeke found himself in an unexpected turn of events. The air was thick with tension as Demiurgos and Alex bickered, seemingly oblivious to the danger that loomed over them. Zeke, caught off guard by their lack of concern, was quickly reassured by Demiurgos' surprising declaration. The former Demon King saw in Zeke a potential that perhaps Zeke himself had never dared to imagine. Demiurgos offered his support, painting a picture of a future filled with the glory and success that Zeke had only ever dreamed of. He presented this alliance as destiny, a chance encounter meant to reshape Zeke's fate. The promise of escaping a life marked by failure and insignificance was too tempting for Zeke to ignore. He had lived as an F-rank, looked down upon and dismissed by those around him. This was his moment, a break from a life of obscurity, and he grasped it with both hands. Zeke's pledge of loyalty, even offering his soul, was met with a light-hearted response from Demiurgos, who seemed to have anticipated such commitment. The proposal of hunting a dragon as Zeke's first challenge was met with disbelief and a hint of fear. Zeke's suggestion of a more manageable task, like goblins, was quickly overridden by Demiurgos' ambitious plan. The contract laid out by Demiurgos spelled out their agreement, binding Zeke into a partnership that promised to elevate him from his current status but also demanded his unwavering obedience and loyalty. The terms, while seemingly steep, signified a new beginning for Zeke, one that could potentially lift him to heights unknown. With a mixture of excitement and apprehension, Zeke accepted the contract, sealing his fate and partnership with Demiurgos. The declaration of his name, Zeke Panholabich, was a commitment to his new path, a vow to rise above his past and embrace the future laid out before him. As Demiurgos pointed towards the dragon, declaring it Zeke's first challenge, the reality of the situation began to sink in. Alex's reminder of the daunting task ahead underscored the gravity of Zeke's decision. Humans slaying dragons was not common fare. It was the stuff of legends. With Demiurgos' plan set into motion, the stage was ready for an unconventional hero's rise. Zeke, now dubbed Potman in his improvised costume, stood at the edge of destiny and disbelief. The idea was simple yet wild: let Alex confront and defeat the dragon, only for Zeke to claim the final blow, all while garbed in a bellboy uniform turned superhero cappy and a pot for a mask. The very notion seemed ludicrous, but in the hands of Demiurgos, it transformed into a plausible scheme. Alex, though hesitant about the plan's audacity, agreed to play his part, leaving with a nod to hunt the dragon. Meanwhile, Demiurgos, with a flick of his foot, presented Zeke with a broom as his holy sword, a gesture that both amused and embarrassed the makeshift hero. Despite the absurdity, Demiurgos' confidence was infectious, convincing Zeke that fame and fortune were just within reach, even if it meant facing a dragon in the most bizarre attire imaginable. As they prepared to leave, Zeke's initial embarrassment gave way to an inexplicable surge of determination. Clutching the broom-turned sword, a newfound resolve flowed through him. It was as if the very essence of heroism that lay dormant in his veins was awakening, a legacy of bravery and courage passed down through generations, now stirring within him. Zeke's bloodline, unbeknownst to him, carried the echoes of heroes past, imbuing him with a latent power that yearned for greatness. The prospect of fame and fortune, once a distant dream, now seemed tantalizingly close, fueling his courage and desire to prove himself. As they ventured forth, Demiurgos' call snapped Zeke back to the present. "Yes, master," he responded, stepping into the unknown with a mix of apprehension and exhilaration. As the chaos unfolded beneath the fiery skies, Demiurgos' command echoed, sending Zeke into action, his form blurring into that of a determined canine. The village was a scene of despair, with its inhabitants cowering for safety amidst the dragon's relentless assault. Above them, the battle took a turn when Alex, stepping through a portal with the air of a seasoned warrior, discarded his coat to reveal his true might. 13 arms, a sight both awe-inspiring and terrifying, poised for a decisive strike. With agility that defied belief, he mounted the dragon, his arms finding their mark deep within the beast's flesh, securing its heart. His demand for submission was clear, yet it was the revelation of a sinister parasite that steered the encounter into uncharted waters. The dragon, under the thrall of this foreign entity, spoke in tongues, its actions growing increasingly erratic. On the ground, Zeke, amidst the chaos, stood as a beacon of hope, though his appearance drew skepticism and whispers of doubt. Was he the hero they awaited or merely a foolhardy soul in over his head? Yet, as Demiurgos voiced his support, the tide of public opinion shifted. Encouraged by the proclaimed masked hero, the villagers' fear gave way to a flicker of hope. Zeke, now buoyed by the unexpected endorsement, clutched his broom with renewed purpose. The prospect of heroism, of being remembered, spurred him forward. Meanwhile, Alex grappled with the dragon's wild flight, the task of taming such a powerful creature proving to be a formidable challenge. In the midst of chaos, as the situation took a turn for the unexpected, Alex found himself in a dire predicament. His back writhed and from it emerged an array of hands, a skill he called the 100 demonic hands, constricting poison. The mighty dragon, caught off guard by Alex's formidable attack, let out a piercing scream. With a single hand left at his disposal, Alex executed another powerful move, heart-piercing, causing the dragon to cry out once more in agony. It was then, amidst the turmoil, that something peculiar caught his eye. A sinister purple parasite began its journey from the dragon's body to his own. The dragon, with its last breath, issued a cryptic warning, hinting at the return of a long-forgotten menace. The parasite, now latching onto Alex's face, sought to dominate his will just as it had the dragon's. In this moment of clarity, Alex understood the true catalyst behind the recent dragon assaults on humanity. Meanwhile, Demiurgos, ever so nonchalantly, awaited the outcome of Alex's endeavor, urging him to hasten his actions as the audience grew impatient. With a touch of humor, he pondered aloud why the slaying of a single dragon was taking so long. As the dragon's growls faded and the menacing purple light in its eyes extinguished, Alex unleashed his 100 hands once more, shattering its bones. Rendered flightless, the dragon began its rapid descent. Demiurgos, seizing the moment, signaled Zeke to prepare for the final act. Timing and precision were crucial. Despite Zeke's hesitance, Demiurgos reassured him with a promise of protection. Igniting a newfound courage within Zeke, manifested by a glowing aura in his blood. As Alex battled the parasitic entity attempting to consume him, he launched a desperate counterattack with his skill, 100 demonic hands, 1,000 glows, whip, managing to detach several fragments of the parasite. Yet, a stubborn piece clung to his face. With determination, he reached for it, pulling with all his strength to rid himself of the parasite's grasp. Observing from afar, Demiurgos noted the dragon's swift fall and cautioned Alex to decelerate, fearing for their champion's safety. The onlookers, gripped by panic, screamed for action, some seeking shelter underground. Amidst the pandemonium, Zeke, emboldened by Demiurgos's vow, readied himself for the daunting challenge ahead. As the dragon continued its descent, Demiurgos stood, shouting Alex's name, perplexed by his tactics and earnestly advising him to mitigate the speed of his approach. Amidst the chaos, Zeke stood his ground, a beacon of determination. He firmly declared his resolve to face the dragon head-on, aiming to vanquish it with a single, decisive blow. A quick journey into the past revealed a tender moment with his father, who imparted the knowledge of a special technique known as moonlight glow. This secret, cherished within their family for generations, was to be Zeke's weapon against the looming threat of the Demon King's forces. Zeke, once burdened by the skepticism of neighbors over his role in the Demon King's defeat, found solace in his father's words. The assurance of their noble lineage and the prophecy of Zeke rising as a hero in this epic confrontation bolstered his spirits. With a youthful, "Okay, Dad," he embraced his destiny. Back in the present, Zeke, weapon in hand, took a stance, ready to unleash the moonlight glow. Meanwhile, Alex, after a struggle, freed himself from the clutches of a parasitic foe, and Demiurgos, with a display of power, unleashed the Doom's guillotine technique, tearing through the dragon's flesh. Zeke, not to be outdone, executed the Demon King's splitter, a move that rent the dragon asunder, showering the area in a rain of blood. The aftermath left Zeke in a moment of shock, only to be replaced by awe as he opened his eyes to the sight of the dragon's demise and the people's jubilation. A hero sent by God, they proclaimed, their cheers washing over him like a wave of adoration. Caught in a flush of modesty, Zeke's attention was diverted by Demiurgos, who, with a hint of amusement, suggested a swift change of clothes for the masked hero. Embarrassed, Zeke hurried off in search of attire. In a moment of solitude, Alex stood, the remnants of his battle visible on his skin, pondering the dragon's cryptic message about a return from death. The dawn of a new day saw Demiurgos rising from slumber, stretching into the morning light, only to be greeted by Alex with a gesture of human tradition, a morning coffee. Their moment of tranquility was soon pierced by Zeke's urgent entrance, his face alight with the burden of news. The village, in its gratitude, was on a fervent quest for the masked savior, placing Zeke in a spotlight he had not anticipated. Demiurgos's curiosity about Zeke's disheveled appearance led to a revelation of the day's labor, a humble yet rewarding effort to mend the scars left on their village by the previous day's havoc. As the first rays of sunlight spilled into the room, Demiurgos couldn't help but marvel at the simple pleasures of the surface world, like the morning sun and a hot cup of coffee. He chuckled, appreciating the luxury of waking up to such refreshing light. "Surface mornings are quite splendid," he commented. Alex, with a hint of mischief, revealed the exotic ingredients of their morning brew, a concoction made from a dragon's tongue and its left eyeball. To this, Demiurgos expressed his delight, savoring the unique taste that only such rare components could offer. Outside, the village buzzed with activity as villagers came together to mend the destruction left by a dragon's rampage the night before. Amidst the heavy lifting and rebuilding, there were murmurs of complaint about the weight of the debris, quickly countered by calls to work faster to avoid a night-long ordeal. Women and children brought food, encouraging the men to eat and gather strength for the task ahead. In the midst of the hustle, Zeke was seen heaving stones, directed by a man of considerable size. Demiurgos, watching from a distance, remarked on the villagers' dedication to restoring their humble abode. "They're putting in a lot of effort for such a modest village," he observed, noting Zeke's particular diligence. Alex nodded, sharing that in a conversation with Zeke the day before, he learned of the young man's hard life, filled with odd jobs to support his family. "From laundry to grave digging, he's done it all," Alex said. "Raising a hero isn't cheap, after all." This insight prompted a decision from Demiurgos. He announced, with a newfound resolve, that they would begin their journey in this very village. Despite its small size and apparent insignificance, it had charmed him. "It's the start of Deus the Human," he declared, ready to embark on a new chapter. With a spring in his step, Demiurgos suggested they set out to sell the dragon leather, a valuable commodity for crafting equipment. However, Alex shared the unfortunate news that the Heroes Bureau had already claimed it all. The revelation infuriated Demiurgos, his frustration reaching comical levels as he cursed their lost effort. Determined to rectify the situation, Demiurgos vowed to confront the Heroes Bureau directly, leaving Alex in a state of disbelief. Alex tried to bring some sense to the situation. "Just breathe," he said, trying to make Demiurgos see reason. "You know, the Heroes Bureau is where all heroes start. It's their cornerstone. Going up against them solo. That's madness, even for someone of your caliber." He was genuinely concerned about the potential chaos if the heroes learned of Demiurgos's absence from the demon realm. "Remember you mentioned wanting to join the heroes. You can't just declare yourself one. You have to be recognized by the Heroes Bureau," Alex explained, hoping to steer Demiurgos onto a safer path. Demiurgos, ever so cool and detached, merely shrugged, prompting Alex to further explain the importance of official recognition. "Without the Heroes Bureau, who's going to recognize you, Zeke, as a hero?" This question seemed to strike a chord, making Demiurgos pause and think. Seeing this, Alex couldn't help but wonder if Demiurgos had reconsidered his plans to dismantle his own legacy. But Demiurgos, ever unpredictable, suggested a bold move. "Why not make up for our losses by taking from the neighboring country?" Alex was stunned. "I thought you were embracing humanity, not plotting as a demon king." Despite the shock, Demiurgos was adamant, setting plans for the next day, dismissing Alex's pleas to return to the demon realm. The next morning, as they traveled through the countryside, Alex tried to break the silence, to no avail. Frustration boiling over, he finally caught Demiurgos's attention with a shout. Alex argued for a return to the underworld, claiming the demon realm awaited its king. "We're running out of time," he stressed. "You need to master being a demon king before it's too late." Demiurgos's response was dismissive. "That's your worry, not mine. A new demon king will rise regardless, and the cycle will continue." He questioned the very nature of their existence and the inevitability of conflict, suggesting a break from tradition might be the true path to enlightenment. Alex, however, had more pragmatic concerns. Forget the philosophical debates. What about an heir? "The 666 Demon King needs a successor," he pressed. Demiurgos's reaction was one of disbelief. "Any girl? How can you say that? Your words betray your demon nature." But Alex remained unshaken, his loyalty unwavering. "I won't leave your side until you secure the future of the underworld." Demiurgos, pondering his unexpected turn of life, mused aloud that perhaps it was time he made his stay in this vibrant land permanent. Alex, ever the loyal companion, half-jokingly suggested that finding a wife for Demiurgos might be the next logical step. The mere mention of marriage, however, was enough to make Demiurgos threaten a return to his realm for the sole purpose of its destruction. The conversation ended there, and they continued their exploration of the beautiful gardens in silence, the air filled with the scent of blooming flowers. After a moment of quiet, Demiurgos broke the silence with a question that seemed to come from nowhere. "But does that even work?" Alex, puzzled, asked what he meant. Demiurgos, with a flush of embarrassment, clumsily broached the topic of human-demon relationships, specifically concerning the possibility of offspring. Alex, initially confused by Demiurgos's vague reference to sex, finally understood the question's true nature. With all the seriousness of a scholarly tutor, Alex explained the basics of reproduction, detailing the process as it applies to humans. Demiurgos, however, found the lecture more amusing than informative, quickly steering the conversation back to his original query about the compatibility between demons and humans. Alex assured him that, despite the differences in their origins, the process remained remarkably similar, even suggesting that Demiurgos's demonic nature might make him unusually fertile, to the point where even the simplest forms of contact could lead to conception. Demiurgos was astounded, and somewhat horrified, by the implications of his own biology, lamenting the singular focus on procreation and violence that seemed to define his existence. As he grappled with these revelations, Alex tried to frame Demiurgos's potent fertility as a divine gift, a beacon of hope for the future of their kind. Demiurgos, ever the skeptic, could only respond with a dismissive scoff, unimpressed by the notion of being blessed with such a burdensome trait. Demiurgos, with a sigh, shared his discomfort about being a legend that re-emerges every century. The weight of expectations bore heavily on him, making him question his own significance in the grand scheme of things. This introspective moment was suddenly interrupted by the sound of desperate screams. A girl, terror etched on her face, was fleeing from a group of menacing individuals. Breathless and frantic, she begged them for help, claiming she was being pursued by mountain bandits. Alex, ever the observer of clichés, couldn't help but comment on the scene unfolding before them. "A damsel in distress," he quipped, urging Demiurgos to lend a hand. However, Demiurgos was skeptical. Why should he intervene in what seemed to him a suspiciously convenient plea for help? Alex tried to convince him by suggesting the possibility of a rewarding outcome, but Demiurgos was not easily swayed. He pointed out the oddities in their situation. The clear view of their surroundings, the distant forest, and the unlikely scenario that the bandits hadn't noticed them yet. He even accused Alex of concocting this scenario to entrap him into fathering an heir. Alex, affronted, defended his honor as the demon realm's greatest strategist, dismissing the idea as beneath him. Just then, the girl reached them, her pleas for rescue directed now at Demiurgos, the hero's companion. Despite her dramatic entreaty, Demiurgos coolly informed her that they were accustomed to facing far greater challenges than mere mountain bandits. The girl's frustration slipped out in a curse, which she hastily denied when Demiurgos confronted her. Before the situation could escalate further, an axe embedded itself in their carriage, drawing their attention to the laughing bandits. Their taunts filled the air, but they underestimated the power they were mocking. With a gaze as cold as the depths from which he came, Demiurgos pronounced a curse upon the axe-wielder, engulfing him in purple flames. His screams of agony were a stark contrast to the laughter that had just filled the air, his companions scrambling to extinguish the flames. The air was thick with shock as Demiurgos delivered his chilling message to the petrified bandits. He claimed the fire he wielded was unquenchable, a curse that would consume its victim without end, until the world itself turned to dust. "Who's next?" he taunted, his question echoing ominously in the air. Without hesitation, the bandits scattered, their fear of becoming the next eternal flame driving them away and leaving behind their comrade, who now served as a fiery testament to their encounter with the one they branded a devil. As silence fell over the scene, a girl, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and awe, turned to Demiurgos, a smile breaking through her apprehension. Demiurgos, uninterested in her admiration, dismissively told her to leave. Yet, she stood her ground, her request urgent. She spoke of her temple, now overrun by mountain bandits, its priestesses enslaved, and their sacred relic lost. Her plea was simple: help them reclaim their home. Demiurgos, however, was unimpressed by what he deemed a trivial task, too mundane for his attention. But the girl, determined and desperate, accidentally revealed her strength by damaging the carriage in her grip. Unmoved, Demiurgos signaled to Alex, his companion, to prepare for departure. It was then the girl played her final card, mentioning a rumor of a hero in underwear associated with dragons, catching Demiurgos' interest with the mention of the true gold dragon's temple. Promised the true gold dragon's helmet as a reward, Demiurgos' curiosity was piqued, and he agreed to her request. Soon after, the odd trio found themselves ascending the steep mountain, with Alex laboring under Demiurgos' unconventional method of travel. "Why not fly?" Alex gasped, the weight of his master bearing down on him. Demiurgos scoffed at the notion, humorously dismissing his former title as if it were a distant memory. Alex, struggling under the load, pleaded for a more traditional piggyback ride, hinting at the absurdity of their current arrangement. As they continued, Alex couldn't help but marvel at the girl's endurance, her human demi-physique powering up the mountain with unwavering resolve. Demiurgos, unfazed by the identity of the woman before him, retorted with a sharp edge in his voice. "Who you claim to be doesn't sway me," he declared, his eyes narrowing. "I'm wary of your words. Should you be spinning tales, I'll go as far as to claim your head as a trophy." His warning hung in the air, a testament to his resolve. He then turned his attention to a grander matter, questioning the existence of a deity revered by the dragons, much like he once was in the demon realm. "Do dragons bow to a god?" he inquired, skepticism lacing his words. Alex, catching his breath, shook his head. "No," he clarified. "The dragons, like us, acknowledge no sovereign but the primeval force that shaped this world. It's this creator who stands above all, the one true deity." Demiurgos, his gaze lifting to the heavens, mused aloud. "Then, does this creator not show undue favor to humans alone, leaving dragons and demons as mere extras in the grand tapestry of life?" Alex urged him not to question too deeply. The creator is the embodiment of truth, the purest form of love. And should we secure Horsen, blessed by divine light, we too shall bask in favor. To this, Demiurgos smirked, a peculiar way to express affection, before they continued their ascent. Reaching the peak, Alex, drained, collapsed, earning a scoff from Demiurgos, who stepped over him, remarking on his frailty yet acknowledging his reliance on the way back down. Inside the cave, Demiurgos called out to the girl, demanding the whereabouts of the mountain bandits and the coveted helmet of the true gold dragon, his tone deceptively calm. Alex, sensing unease, cautioned him, but it was too late. The cave sealed shut, plunging them into darkness. Laughter echoed, heralding the transformation of the girl into her true form. She was the enigma they sought, the mountain bandit and more. She revealed herself as the god of all dragons, the golden lore. the mother and ruler of her kind, and the very dragon whose helmet they sought. Caught off guard, Demiurgos could only utter a surprised, "Huh?" as he faced the true gold dragon. Her challenge was clear. Recognize the gravity of their situation and bow before Her Majesty, the Golden Lore, the singular deity of dragonkind. Demiurgos found himself scratching his head in confusion. It was then that Alex leaned in, his voice low but clear. "We've stumbled into a huge mess." Their predicament seemed almost laughable to Lore, who couldn't help but chuckle at their astonishment. "Surprised?" she taunted, her eyes gleaming with amusement. "If fear grips your heart, perhaps begging would suit you better. But fear not, pettiness is not in my nature." Demiurgos, ever thoughtful, stroked his chin and mused aloud. The god of the dragon's law. How fascinating." Laura's laughter filled the air once more at his realization. "Oh. Have you finally caught on? As an apology, I'll have you do something for me," she said, her smile widening. Caught off guard, Demiurgos blinked in confusion. "Huh? Law of the dragons, mother of dragons. What are you going on about?" "I just think I deserve a cool title too," he mumbled, his face the picture of innocence. He longed for a title that truly reflected his essence, dreaming aloud of being known as the one who watches over all from the shadows, a true dark guardian among men. Turning to Alex, he sought his opinion, to which Alex applauded. "Oh, as expected of my lord." Laura's amusement quickly turned to irritation, her cheeks flushing with anger. "Enough with this foolishness," she snapped, urging them to beg for forgiveness. "Don't you think you owe me an apology?" Demiurgos, genuinely puzzled, wondered aloud what she could possibly be referring to. "Involve you? I can't recall doing anything of the sort." Laura pointed an accusing finger at him. "Didn't you kill a dragon yesterday? I am the mother of all dragons, and you've slain one of my children." Demiurgos couldn't hide his astonishment. "All this fuss, over that?" he asked, disbelief coloring his tone. Lore, her patience worn thin, lunged at him, her face inches from his as she seethed. "Just that? You must be seeking death." Suddenly, the air crackled with heat as flames encircled them, Lore declaring the sacred ground of the Golden Jade Realm, her domain where even the mightiest would falter. Alex, his eyes wide with fear, warned Demiurgos of the danger. This is her territory, the land of the Golden Dragon. Fighting here, it's madness. Lore's laughter echoed, a sound of sheer dominance. She demanded submission, a command that left Demiurgos questioning her sanity. "Kneel? Despite knowing who I am?" His voice dropped, a dark promise lingering in his words. "If you claim to be the Golden Dragon, then prepare. I shall claim your face as my trophy." Lore's fury knew no bounds, her eyes ablaze with wrath. "You dare!" she roared, the air around them tense with the promise of a battle like no other.